You can move around any time of the day and of the night. So I believe the man did tremendous job in reducing crime, the crime rate, drug-related, crimes and other forms, even dealing with the Muslim insurgency in
Okay.
the Mindanao southern region.
Now, before,
Well,
okay, go ahead. Land on your thought. Land on your thought.
yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, there can be no success in political engineering without some defects or consequences.
Okay.
So there's nowhere any fight against drug, either in South America or in the UK or even in any nation in Nigeria, that can't go without consequences, especially as it relates to the culprits, to the offenders.
Okay. Okay. Well, like you said, something must have to give. And we see what happened in places like Nicaragua, places like Colombia, and all of those drug areas. Anyway, but like I said, I think on my own that Rodrigo Duterte was able to push back, the drug cartels that had ran a rampage in Philippines. But that's not our major topic of discussion. Let's get into our own. Yesterday, we touched on a lot of issues. Nigeria as a secular state, and alleged plans to turn the country into an official religion and all of that. Now, let's start with the point of what global Christendom can and should do to push back any suspected incursion into free space. Like I asked you yesterday, and I want you to be more elaborate, what do you think that Christianity can do? When people hear about OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference and all of that, is there anything that stops Christendom from forming their own organization, put up a bank that can give interest-free loan, and get into all this form of evangelism? We understand that the other one is militant evangelism, and the other one preaches against militant evangelism. Feel that Christendom can do to push back that incursion into their free space?
First of all, please, my vision is blocked. I can tell your technical team to amend my vision there. Part of my eyes is being blocked. In fact, I don't know if
I think it's coming from your camera. It's coming from your camera. Are you using any kind of lighting? But can you see me?
I can see you clearly.
Okay, so what's the issue now?
I'm being blocked. Are you seeing me clearly?
Very well, very well.
Okay, maybe it might be coming from my own point.
I think the rays are from your side, so you might have just to adjust it.
Continue, really, but it was you said it's from my camera. Well, I've heard what you see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. According to, like what you are talking about, how the Christendom can come in.
No, what they should do to put their space.
Well, it takes political will, like what Donald Trump is doing today. Of a receding Christian culture, the receding Christian religion in the world. It takes liberalism beyond the claim of secularism, because you're seeing a situation where there is no complementary diplomatic equation between the West and war. I'm a refugee in this thing of 1950 country. Convention on Refugees, 1950 Convention, and then 1967 Protocol. Nation accept refugees. Nation in the world accepts refugees. Among the most If there is crisis in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, in Sudan, in Israel, and refugees, which, yes. So if refugees are now moved to the West, where they accommodated or the West, and in so doing, the way cultural that is founded on Christian, their Islamism, Sharia, their freedom they never enjoyed in the Arab world. In a free country that they never existed from their countries of origin. The West are just looking at it as if not.
Now, Doctor, I like the fact that you brought us to this level angle. The question is, what do you think that Christendom should? You recall Inquisition. You are a historian. You know about the Inquisition in America by the Catholic Church. You know about what the Huguenots did in advocating that Christianity become. You think that Christendom can do to push back caution that point?
Cannot be militant now under a political framework. Even the Spanish and so on and so forth, you find that. So we expect Christianity now to be reasserted. The values of reasserted by the existing political framework. You look at King of England is the head of Anglican, and there you see Muslims, you see people even selling off ancient buildings because of non-compliance. And you write a militant British movement known as British First, fighting this particular that to assert their dominance through the international organizations like OS, like the other funds, or like Islamic Development Bank. You know, Christian nations try to maintain Christianity in safeguarding the values of. You go to India, there's a values of Hinduism. You go to the Eastern Asian countries like Malaysia, Malaysia is Muslim. Thailand, like and other areas, they try to maintain the value of their Buddhism. Is Ashintos, that's their religion.
Okay, now, okay, Doctor, let's bring it to where. Well, how do you think that the Christendom can assert itself? Talk about taking a political track to all of that. We have a president Muslim. We have the previous president who was Muslim. We have the president and a citizen president. What should Christendom do?
Let me of the problems we have in and this division is in the church. The Catholic Church have to reconcile these 10 divisions with Protestants. Can is not unified to the Catholic Church aligned with Muslims to install Buhari. The election with them, Muslim, even though it was ticket, the Muslim vice clear injustice to the Christendom in Nigeria, but they went in because of their selfish inclinations. In Nigeria today, the Christians are a majority. Without the Christian support, no Muslim can be vice president of this country.
Okay. So when you talk about the Catholic Church, okay, about Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo.
Yes. You find that Murtala Mohammed shouldn't have without the support of Christians. Even Abacha, shouldn't have sustained this position, or Babangida without the clandestine support of Christians. Country without the support of Christians. From 1975 was the of this nation. You had the head of state Gowon, how the vice president and I've always said it that the worst government in Nigeria, the worst Christian government, the worst of Nigeria, headed by a Christian president, is head of state, Muslim president.
All the problems that about state and religion. Now you take us back to the Europe of the world and all the 30 years war and all of that. Is that in Nigeria? Shouldn't we talk about whatever that we can achieve of religion and the state? Because you are religion into statism. Should that
within the secular concept, which though not practical in Nigeria is supposed to, it operates that way. Except within the sense concept of between religion and politics, economy, because for it to work, Muslims of Nigeria must agree to that concept, and that has been the of Christians.
Okay.
Because why Nigerian Christians are saying no, religion should not be part of politics. Right, raising political consciousness. You see Christian leaders saying no. That is the basis of Muslim domination in the of Lesser Hajj, where some political talk about attending in Saudi Arabia. How they can continue to manipulate and then trade the of major Hajj in Cameroon. It's about Christians, Muslims, demonstrate their, their whole in political power. The concept of secularism does not work. It does not, and according to them, a devout Muslim does not accept that. What he knows that a Muslim, because you see, you are of communism. During the Cold War era, with all this Marxism and so on and so on. If communism or Marxism talks about of communist conquest of the whole world, and peace and economic Eldorado.
But happen.
That is the same concept on which Islam is constructed.
Going to happen.
Well, it happens between the interval of initiation and interval. People suffering, killings, terrorism, people
took away many lives in the Cold War. I mean, you talk the dialectics of historical dialectism and historical dialectics. I understand all of that. Now, before we leave, because this is let's not get into the academics of it. So, now you said something about the Catholic, being causing the division. I think that the Catholic, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria has been more vocal than the Christian of Pentecostal PFN. What do you think that the Catholic Church is the problem?
Now let me tell you, the issue of Khan before it became military government, nothing like Khan. The Christians of Nigeria were operating without shepherd. Them and say you must establish in Jordan barracks. And President, look at what happened during Jonathan's era. Under Cardinal Oneko. Also, all of them, what they call for Buhari. No matter how bad a Muslim is, a Muslim, as the Christian did, I think.
Okay.
Because they are coming out to tell Nigerians that Jonathan is now. Most of this, even Okoji came out. Who brought Buhari into of things? Christian values, Christian Nigeria that undermine the peace and security. Bred in such
determination. What are your prescriptions for a different track? What do you think that he should or the Igbo people should have done to achieve self-determination? The track adopted by Nnamdi Kanu. Quick one, if you can.
Study them. I've also associated with both Masob and organogram. No leadership. Not. It is about one person collecting money for. It's a fraud. Secession at this time because the demography that created the declaration of the state of Biafra no longer, and that was a mistake, misapplication of communities of crisis. That demography no longer. Because presently, the so-called Biafra, Republic of Biafra, talking about Igbo independence, Igbo self-determination, or Biafran self-determination, because Biafra is synonymous and Igbo is not synonymous with Biafra, because there are not every Igbo person, not every Igbo group is part of Biafra or was part of the form Biafra, and not all the members of not every member of the form Biafra was Igbo. Biafra was a multi-ethnic concept. That was the position.
Dr. Mwezigwe, which Biafra are you talking about? Are you talking about the Biafra of 1967 to 1970, or the Biafran trading route that existed in the 14th century? Which one are you talking about now?
Which Biafra? Biafra was never part of Nigeria. Historically,
which Biafra are you talking about now?
Biafra, no, I'm talking about 1966, because Biafra, a trading kingdom in Eastern Cameroon, between Bamaleke and Yaoundé.
Okay.
And when the Portuguese came in Benin and major traders, so the half of the Gulf of Guinea, the western half, Bight of Benin, and the half Biafra up to Bight of Biafra up to.
Now that's my question.
So
essentially, you are talking about the 67 Biafra, which you say no longer exists now.
Biafra historically associated with Nigeria,
okay.
And it was of that Bight of Biafra, just a major gulf of Atlantic Ocean from the middle of the Niger Delta.
But are you aware that the Igbo people were in control of that trade? That
it is not. There was no trading route called Biafra. Biafra was not.
But you just said that it extended up on part of the Bight of Benin.
Igbo was never explored until after British, after the rise of Britain, after Berlin Conference.
1885, Doctor, I'm talking about the Biafra of the 14th century, between 1865.
It was not part of.
Telling you that the Igbo people, are you aware that the Igbo people route up onto Equatorial Guinea, the place that we call Panya?
No, sir. Listen, let me tell you.
Okay.
No, sir. You mistake the Niger, the trading states of.
Delta is what we had at the Bight of Benin that extended up on the place and up to the Asante area of. Doctor, let's get out of that.
I am a historian. No, I'm sorry to say that, but you are talking off his points.
Let's get out of that because
people, yes.
Dr. Mwezigwe, hold on. Let's get out of a historian. So let's get out of it. Maybe we'll have no.
Let me inform you something. The only Igbo people that were engaged at that time were the Arab. Arab developed is of Igbo,
which were all part of the Biafra that you are talking about.
They were not
Dr. Mwezigwe, look, move on.
We have references.
Dr. Mwezigwe, let's go on to. We are creation. Now the people of Ijeoma are asking to be carved out and joined with some parts of Anambra. I mean, most state, 6th state in the southeast. But the Ika people are clearly to it, saying they don't want to be yoked with the Igbo. Help in resolving the crisis of Igbo identity that you and I talked yesterday.
I am not in support of. I personally am aware of those why I support the creation of Ijeoma State. I don't support the idea of putting Ijeoma people in the southeast.
Okay.
Number one reason, it is, it is risky. And the way forward for him to develop and then his primary in all the Igbo ethnic groups in one zone. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
The Yorubas, the place, even you have the Yoruba, talk about bringing all the Yoruba people even in. It is risky. Remember what happened during when Ojukwu declared Biafra May 1967. Three people said they were. And the federal government to take arms to Niger Delta. That even gave right to, because there were no in the to Biafran then. Think of if they were lumped together. That is there. You see, apart from linguistic, just as that that it's not enough to even define no ethnic group is homogeneous. So people and of the even of ethnicity, the only state that can talk of is Imo State. Maybe when you remove Ugute, that claim that they came from Benin. You talk of Enugu, you talk of Abaka.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You talk about, if you go to, they speak Igala, but they go to Abuja, but they are Igbo speaking.
Okay. Clearly, what you are saying is that one, of an Ijeoma State, but it shouldn't include that the Igbo people should be lumped into confinement called the Igbo land. They should spread, like you have in Kwara, part of Kogi State and all of that. Now let's talk about a fortnight ago. Babangida launched his long-awaited memoir. Now he said about his school, structural adjustment program, and have read the book. Do you think that Babangida did justice to his election? As a historian, how do you think, or do you think that he's already getting judged while he?
In history, you tell your students, you don't tell your students what the annulment of but no, he has to give you Factors, not one.
Yes.
That is different between, and social scientists and other people.
Like you said, we normally causal effect that a single thing caused to happen. Two things exactly.
One lead to one until you get to.
Okay.
Let's take a few of them. Let me tell you first of all that Abacha was a backbone of Babangida because they were Abacha and Duncan Valley. The Duncan Valley we up after stabilizing the setup. They stabilized the military setup. We found that the Hercules one time killed over 100 young officers, Christian officers.
You said Christian, were they predominantly?
Okay. No single Muslim. Muslim. The only non-Nigerians were people from Zambia also. Single Muslim. They gathered them together. And apart from being a historian, I am trained signal session. I trained as a signal telecommunication expert.
Okay.
Signals, I work in signals, air traffic control signals. My plan was even to read aeronautical engineering. Questions led me to go to study history. Hercules was an aircraft, transport aircraft that could land up and take off within a short. Hercules has 4 mighty engines. 2 can fail and 2 can take the aircraft. Hercules that Hercules, the 4 engines are independently operated. It was difficult or to just die under all the 4 engines just went, and the aircraft diagnosed into a failure. And for 1 hour 30 minutes, which is few miles from Naval Airport, for 1 hour 30 minutes rescue operation. Lagos, we're talking of Ejibo. You are talking of Ejibo. For 90 minutes, all suffocation. Because it was built with little and fortified windows. Were very difficult to break. With died of years. And they were all young Christians. And this was the backbone. So they eliminated them. And these were the backbones of Duncan. They have to get rid of him. And then and Abacha now agreed. It will be Abacha's turn to rule. So it was agreement of them. So leave what Babangida was saying about.
Okay.
So they agree.
So you don't believe that Babangida created a Nigeria?
No. He lied. Even in the civil war, in the several this coup was not an Igbo coup. It was an Igbo. That okay. It was not an Igbo. Out of the 33 people or that dealt with Sardauna of Sokoto. Only 8. There was a junior officer that, or captain. So he was not enlightened beyond the issue of anti-bomb mobilization. That he passed. So most of those things he wrote were, we witnessed it. We witnessed it as young men, as university graduates here in Nigeria. So face saving cannot help him.
Okay. Now let's talk about the State of the Union before we wrap up. What's your assessment of the achievements of this administration, of the current APC administration, the current APC of Tinubu?
You should talk after it costs, not achievement from the government. Is it economic? I left Rwanda 1 year and 4 months. Rwanda money was changing in appreciable very well. Even in Togo, naira was, even though a little bit appreciated. What is the state of the naira? In 1980, I finished my secondary school to $1. 45 naira, 1 naira. And the pound sterling was 80 sterling. Is it that? I don't know how to then. Then the naira was stronger. Look at the progress now. And all the things we have often occurred during the reign of Muslims. From Shagari, our naira collapsed. A Muslim. Buhari came up, introduced the economy collapsed, the people suffered, and the naira depreciated. Through his SAP, under them, and then maybe we'll talk about steady, maybe because of his step as a political pariah, there was no time for him to do that. And it is between.
But Abacha was Muslim. Abacha was. What was the magic?
The magic was that he was.
That Nigeria should. Don't you think that if it works, that Nigeria should isolate itself, like China did make progress?
No, you cannot isolate yourself. A capitalist. Yeah?
India did.
A manufacturing giant.
But at a point, Indians said, look, if you wear Indian-made clothes, go naked. If you don't drive Indian-made cars, then trek. One is amazing it.
Yeah, but which cars making it?
We have a nothing.
When did nothing?
So, nothing. I'm just asking, shouldn't we? No, if the isolation of the Abacha era, whether it was willingly or whether it was forced somehow it worked and stabilized our currency. Shouldn't we close up and see what we can do for ourselves here?
It can that under autocratic system. Autocratic system in the sense
you know about and how he built Singapore. For him, between democracy and autocracy, between the one that doesn't work. You know, you're a historian. You know what mechanism we prefer.
Now listen, when you're talking of autocracy with business sense, with
there's an angle to it with business
yes.
sense. Okay. Yes. You did, right?
Abacha was not ready in business sense. He was in pre-relation.
But it worked for him.
There was dynamism in Nigeria. Stagnated as much as the currency stagnated. A basic equilibrium, between a stagnant economy and a stagnant currency. There would, when you are talking of Germany, you talk of big, Bismarck, or use as to develop Germany, unite them. Yeah. Look at even when you look at all democracies like China and so on, China was underdeveloped until they opened up their market.
But they did the first things first. They did the first things first to close acts together before they opened up. That's exactly my point.
Economic the reigning economy in Asia were Taiwan, Hong Kong, which was, and then Japan. It was the openness of China. Her population.
Okay. We are short of time. We are pressed for time. On the State of the Union, what do you think we can do as a people to build a strong, vibrant nation called Nigeria?
Presently, we need to base and our capacity based on ethnic affiliation, religious, and sectional bigotry. Talking about innocent, who will accept innocent, a major car producer, to government? You also have to tell our people to invest more on productive economic ventures, not buy and sell affairs. Because manufacturing economy might not give you the quick. They can be sustained over time and give your people durable economy through employment. So presently, what Nigeria is of the government system, you have our government that is grossly over with expensive remunerations. Now is to dissolve this democracy and bring in an interim government. Money, the legislators, assembly as a remuneration. The whole money, the members of the state legislators, the local government legislators, the commission, redundant and ineffective non-productive government. If you pack all their money into the economy of Nigeria,
okay,
we come back again. But right, as long as this system persists, this system of squander will continue to move from worst to worst. from bad to worse and from worse to worse.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Tony Odogunwe. Now, this is where we end Political Lens. A big thanks for coming. Returns tomorrow at 6 p.m. Well, Dr. Mwezigwe, I think we might have to have you some other time because interesting. I'll stay in touch with you to see when you can come to and educate ourselves and educate Nigerians more.
Those are the progress of my country.
All right, big thanks to you once again. Now I am Chukwuma Okoro, and up next is People's Voice with Adefun.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.